Hey folks, welcome back to Art Talks, as I'm formally calling the series and everything, with myself, Christopher, and yeah, fun stuff. I just watched back the first video a few minutes ago, that posted 3 hours ago, and it'll probably be more time by this point that this video goes out. But notice some things. I'm sorry about the music being a little loud. I'll fix that for future videos. The first and the second one, I have not fixed it such that, the music is not low enough, understandably so. So for this video, hopefully the music will be lower, so it's not blasting in anybody's ears. Yeah. A couple announcements. One, I wanted to say that I am pleased with the response so far of these videos. It's not too many views on the first one, but that's okay. I'm currently, as of right now, during this video, finalizing the edits for uploading the second video that will be out this evening, because it's nighttime where I'm at right now, as you can probably tell. So my room's a little darker. And then third announcement is, be sure to check out the links in the description below. I always post links on every video involving my website, which is where I post a lot of my finished works as well as develop my portfolio. It's also where you can contact me if you want any commissions done, or if you want to access, kind of more about me, my blog, which I need to get back more into. That's all right. All right. There we go. Enunciation. That's a thing. It's something I don't always do, but that's okay. What was the other thing? Oh yes, please also be sure to check out my Etsy shop. Got a lot of really fun and fantastic products on there. Some digital prints, as well as some actual prints for sale, as well as the new Gondor leather journal that I have. It's a made-to-order option, yeah, be sure to check that out. That will also be in the description below. And then the last thing that will be in the description is my Facebook page, which has a lot of my preliminary sketches, what I'm thinking as far as art goes, as well as planned out stuff, in process works, and even occasionally some finished works themselves. But now for the episode. I think that's it. I think that's all the announcements that I need to get out. But what are we going to talk about this evening? Or today, depending on where you're at? Fan art. Fan art, in terms of whether it is allowed to be up for commercial use or commercial selling or not. Commercial buying, so to speak. That's been something that's been a big debate right now about fan art and its, ability to be sold commercially or not. It's something that's been all over the web for the last several years. As well as even on DeviantArt forums and all that kind of stuff. And one thing I want to bring up first off in discussing about fan art is, for people out there, what fan art is. A lot of people have maybe multiple interpretations and definitions of it. I, for example, look at fan art, and fan art, down to its core, is art that's been created by people that have referenced a lot of themes from either various movies or TV shows or books or stories in their work. But have an original concept with it. For example, as I talk about back in episode 1 of this series, I'm doing a piece right now that involves Captain Rex from the Star Wars: The Clone Wars TV and movie series, um, and him witnessing Order 66. Now, that will have a heavy amount of Star Wars themes, uh, you know, throughout the piece, but the overall concept, to my knowledge, is unlike any other art piece that's out there. Sure, people may have done this particular kind of piece before in terms of the idea of it, but I've done a lot of personal research as well as done a lot of different thumbnails and concept work for how this piece could look in its final stage. Um, and this is something that I'm putting my heart and soul into, as well as a lot of time, a lot of materials and resources into. Um, and this may be something that I may not be able to get paid for. Now, it is a school project, but often with my school projects, they'll end up being so good that I could end up selling them as like prints or actual, commercial pieces. Um, what's the big debate about in the art world right now is that the piece that I'm working on, or pieces like the one I'm working on, would not be able to be sellable for commercial use. And that's mostly due to the whole copyright situation. My understanding is that it's because there's themes and heavy usage of references from Star Wars that are within the piece. Even though it's an original concept, they won't be able to available for sale because there's a copyright thing with that. And I think that's real discouraging, because I'll give you another example of a work that I've seen before. And I can't remember, unfortunately, who did this piece. And it wasn't even a finished piece. He was still in the process of working on it. It is a bird's eye view of a city. And sitting on top of a gargoyle in the foreground of the piece, meaning that it's closest to you, is Spider-Man. You see his face in like a profile view, looking down at the city, and and it's really well done. This is like comic book quality craftsmanship and artistic skill and whatnot. And I mean, he was commissioned to do this piece and all that kind of stuff, and it is an original concept and everything. But he wouldn't be able to sell it for commercial use. He wouldn't be able to sell professional. He wouldn't be able to sell prints for a commercial, business aspect because of the copyright stuff on it. And that's where the whole debate is right now. It's like, here are the artists that are putting their heart and souls into these pieces. And yes, they have themes and references to different films, stories, comics, whatever. And they're not able to sell it on a commercial use scale. They're able to do commissions for it. I do it all the time. And so do a lot of other artists. But those are usually private commissions. And it's discouraging, and that's where a lot of the debate is. Either you are for selling the stuff, even though there is a copyright to it. There is you're for selling original works within the world of Star Wars or Lord of the Rings and whatnot. The product I just made recently that involves the Gondor Journal. That's an idea, and I'm sure there's journals like that out there. But it was an idea that I had to make a journal that was, it's for anyone, but it's geared towards people who like and love Lord of the Rings. And for this particular journal, As mentioned before, it's the White Tree of Gondor that's hand painted on the journal itself. There's certain pieces of art and there's certain projects and whatnot in which elements of the piece have to be as close as to correct as possible. The White Tree of Gondor is no exception. I want people to look at that, and all of a sudden, if they're Lord of the Rings fans especially, I want people to look at that and say, I know exactly what this is. And this is really nicely well done. I know, I mean, it's got the stars, it's got the branches where it needs to be and everything. It's really well done, good piece of work and craftsmanship and everything. And I would buy this kind of deal. However, there is the whole thing out there on the other side of that that would say, I can't sell it for commercial use. And that's the thing right now. A lot of people, where I sell a lot of, or am attempting to sell a lot of my work. I haven't sold anything yet on Etsy, but that's where I see a lot of artist interpretations of different pieces, and have intertwined with that still themes from what they're basing their stuff off of. There's actually this artist on Etsy right now. I can't remember their name at the moment, unfortunately, but they have done digital prints of the Knights of the Old Republic video game series involving Revan and Malik and all that kind of stuff. And these are digital prints that are made to look like kind of the movie posters from, like, you know, the original trilogy and prequels, and the new trilogy that's being out right now of The Force Awakens and everything. And these are really good quality stuff. But again, the same argument, is it for commercial sale? You know? And I'll link their stuff in the description below. It's really nice stuff. But it's the whole thing of people pouring their heart and souls into stuff and really being inspired by the various elements around them, even if it is films or TV shows or books and whatnot. And they're pulling concepts from those bases of information and trying to create their own concept while remaining true to the world that they're pulling the sources from. This is not a new concept. This is not a new concept at all. People in the art world have been borrowing from each other for thousands of years. And often there are elements and aspects in which artists will do a piece and it'll look uncannily similar to the piece that they borrowed from, and then try to call it their own, with maybe making a few tweaks and adjustments off of the original. You'll see this all the time throughout all ages of art. Throughout the Neolithic period, a little bit. Then again, a lot of people were kind of doing the same thing and whatnot. You'll see the same thing throughout the Gothic periods, the Renaissance, the Baroque period, so forth and so on. But the point is that a lot, artists everywhere throughout history have borrowed from one another, and that's how they grow. And it's also how they sell their stuff and make their, living and livelihood as artists. So, do us in the 21st century, I wonder, have any kind of different say on that? A lot of people think, given the copyrights and everything and how stuff is their own and whatnot, don't cross that line. You can't sell it. There's also a lot of other people that say, despite the copyrights, let's just make our stuff as original as possible while pulling these other ideas. that's something that has been up in the air a lot right now. Um, that's something I deal with as an artist. I create concepts and images all the time, um, from things that I like, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, you name it. Um, but, you know, I run into the problem of, if it's an original piece, if I physically worked out how I want this piece to look, I mean, it still has aspects from it, but yet I can't sell it. That's kind of like, really? You're gonna go there? And I know, I could acquire rights and all that kind of stuff, but that's often a hassle enough. Acquiring rights for anything nowadays is a whole lot of paperwork, a whole lot of time to go over that paperwork, get the approval from everybody, go through all the logistics and everything. It's no wonder that people are so peeved about this. Um, YouTube, for example. Of course, hopefully they don't dock me for this, given I'm saying stuff about this, but they have huge copyright stuff that, I'm worried whenever I play a game. I kid you not, this happens. I can't play a game without particular soundtracks, often no music at all, and get paid for that video. I can't do it. If I want to get paid for the video, I have to eliminate the soundtrack completely, which means I go to the menu, and all that kind of stuff. Lego Star Wars, for example, which is one of the series that I'm favoriting right now. Same with any of the Third Age Total War stuff that I've done. Those games, as examples, have soundtracks that are from the films and from all that stuff, and would I like to play it on there? Absolutely. It adds to the experience in the game and everything. Can I make money off the video that I do? No, I can't. YouTube will dock me for having music on the videos because it's copyright material. Unless, of course, I've acquired that license to have that stuff on there. So it's a big debate. It really is a big debate. And it's not... A large part of it is about making money, but a bigger part is getting proper recognition for the work that a lot of artists do. And it's a two-way field on this, and I'll explain why. A lot of artists, unfortunately, that would like to take credit for everything that they do. Naturally so. But if you're borrowing from another source, the proper way to do stuff is at least acknowledge where you got the source somewhere within the piece or in the back of it. If you're posting it online, say where you got the original idea from. When I eventually post online the finished piece of the Captain Rex Witnessing Order 66, I'll post and list the references that I used in the piece. I haven't done that a lot with my pieces recently, unfortunately, and I need to, but that is what should be done. At least acknowledging that, you got these from, the list of specific sources, and then go from there. But it's tough. It's a tough ball game for that. Send in what you like, or not like, but what you think on this. If you're on one side of the debate or the other, if you feel that artists shouldn't get compensation for or commercial compensation for the pieces that they do that are inspired from already ideas that have already been done. Or if you're on the other side of the debate saying, artists should get commercial compensation for it. Because that's been a huge thing that's been going on right now in the art world and whatnot. It's money. It matters. It's also recognition, and that's what matters too. So, but yeah, let me know. Also, too, guys, one thing before I end the video, I'm going to end it a little early tonight because I'm tired. Is please also on all the videos, if there's a subject within art that you want to talk about or discuss, if there are techniques you would like to know, if there's just anything to do with art in general that you want to discuss, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. It means everything in the world for me to do that. I want to read your comments. I really do. I want to read them all. And yeah, I really want to read them. And it really drives the conversation too. It drives it a lot because what I talk about art creates conversation. That's really what it does. It creates conversation, creates emotion, creates feeling, creates jobs, as we mentioned in previous episodes. Also, feel free to, if there's ever a concept that I maybe glossed over or that you want to talk more about that's been in previous episodes, let me know. I'd be glad to bring it up again. This will probably be a debate I'll come up with more times later on, but this is kind of just the overlaying snippet of what I feel about how artists should, get compensated for the work that they do, at least on a commercial basis as far as fan art goes. But that's what I think. And, yeah. I hope you all share your thoughts and whatnot below. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you all for watching the video, guys. It's actually been a real blast so far to do this series and whatnot. I'm really happy with how it's been going so far. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, hopefully the audio will be a little bit better as far as the music intertwined with this video goes. I know that the first two were a little off in terms of the music audio, but hopefully that will get fixed. As mentioned before, go ahead and check out the links in the description below. That would be fantastic if you did that. And as always, guys, thank you all for the love and support. See you all in the next one. And may the force ever be in your favor.